Hey, Pawn Leaders, welcome back to season 2 of the Pawn Leaders podcast. And today I'm excited to have Jaime Jay with me, who is not just a friend of mine. I consider you a friend, Jaime. You were one of the first people who had me on their podcasts. So I appreciate that. Jaime's got an incredible podcast called Stop Riding the Pine. And he opened the doors for me to be able to feel comfortable and confident in front of a microphone. So thanks for that, bro.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Heck yeah. Didn't need any too much pushing, man. You're natural.
Thank you. So guys, Jaime is the founder of Bottleneck Virtual Assistants. And what they do is they identify, hire, and cultivate team members through an efficient and systematic approach. And this awards ambitious leaders the opportunity and time for personal growth and professional growth. Since leaving the U.S. Army as a former paratrooper, and I didn't know about this, in the 82nd Airborne Division, he began working in corporate America, and he worked for a couple of different Fortune 500 companies over the next 12 years. And over those 12 years, he learned a lot about business and working with others, but he never quite felt like he found his calling. And after overcoming some tragedy multiple times, Jaime shaped himself into the kind of person who continues to pursue his dreams of both self and creative discovery. And Jaime enjoys coaching people, dreaming of a fantastic future, connecting amazing people, and creating some outstanding companies like Bottleneck Virtual Assistants. Jaime, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Yigal. This is truly an honor.
No, it's my pleasure having you on. I'm thinking about season 2, and I'm thinking, what resources can I bring to the Pawn Leaders podcast? And you were one of the first people to jump into my mind in the virtual assistants. Virtual assistants do so much for business owners and allow them to be their best at what they do, that I think this is just a great connection to bring you on to the show. So let's talk about Bottleneck. Let's jump right into it. Then we'll talk about, how you got into it. So I know you from Stop Riding the Pine, your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I know you from doing like branding and marketing, which is what you were doing. And I'm sure you're still doing that. And then you started Bottleneck Virtual Assistants. What got you into this business?
That's a great question. You have to go all the way back to 2006. 2006 is when I left corporate America and I went out on my own with a partner, and we founded an advertising agency, a marketing agency that was real estate based and focused. So we did everything real estate, for mortgage, real estate agents, companies, things like that. And we would do websites and marketing for them and all that kind of stuff. We even had a magazine that we distributed 12,000 copies a month, and people would, buy advertising in there, and we'd do articles on, different things that were going on with the real estate market at the time. And my partner was from the Philippines. We were both living in California at the time, but he had a connection. And I said, man, how are we going to do this? This is going to be expensive to hire the production director and the editors and the developers. I'm like, man, we're going to have to invest. And he said, well, we're going to be able to save some money because I'm going to help build a team from the Philippines. And I thought, what? How is that going to work? I don't speak Tagalog. I don't know,
I'm sure you've had some lumpia before, but
Yeah. So, so we got together. We had, I think it was 14 or 15 total on staff. And I think 11 or 12 of them were from the Philippines. Everything from our operations manager to admin to developers, and even the layout of the magazine came from the graphic designers in the Philippines. And I had incredible experience with them. And in 2008, the good old housing crisis hit, and we lost all of our clients in the span of about 3 months.
Wow.
And so, we were doing well. We were having fun. I didn't save. I learned a massive lesson. I had to move back in with my parents. Could you imagine? I'm 38 years old living with my parents again. It was terrible. I love my parents, but that's not where I wanted to be. So I kind of kept doing that for friends. People were, saying, how did you do that? And I would tell them. So I'd say, call this person and connect with them. And I kind of did that all the way for 10 years or so while I was doing some different endeavors along the way. And then it was at the urging of my mastermind group that said, hey, you really need to focus on this. This is a golden opportunity. And so about 2 years ago, I officially formed the company. And it's just been going fantastic. And we've learned so much along the way. And we've That's kind of what brought me into doing Bottleneck Virtual Assistants full time.
That's awesome. And I want to make sure that the pawnbrokers who are listening know, when you talk about virtual assistants, what type of work can a virtual assistant do? Give me like just a quick list of the type of work that a business owner would want to take off of their shoulders and the type of work that you guys take on. So we talked a little bit about some of this, right? It was like accounting, social media. What else do they do?
So this is a really good question, but I also have to preface it, especially in the pawn industry or an industry that may not be used to outsourcing or hiring virtual assistants. You know, they need someone to come in, they need to physically see their bookkeeper, they need to do all of this stuff. So I want to kind of preface this before I answer that question, and I will answer it, I promise. But there comes a point in time in any business, I don't care what industry you're in, where a certain amount of work comes in and a sense of overwhelm comes tumbling over. And that's because you're trying to do so many different things. And many business leaders, pawn brokers and people in the pawn industry will experience the same thing. It doesn't matter what area you're in, but if you don't create a system or a process in which everything that you do in your business from the very get-go, it's going to be very hard for you to hire, brick and mortar, not only, virtual, but brick and mortar, having somebody actually come in. You've got to have those systems built out. And so a good friend of, I think a mutual friend of ours, Scott Beebe, says, you always do something as if it's the last time you're going to do it. And what that means is you got to write everything down. One of the biggest things and one of the biggest challenges I feel for business leaders, business owners, is delegating because they feel that their expectations won't be met. What better way to get all of the stuff out of your head than to write it down exactly how you do it as a business owner, so that if you do eventually need someone to come in and take over that role, they're going to maintain your voice, your tone, the brand integrity with which you want to develop your business and grow your business with. So I think that's a really huge precursor to the different types of roles. Now, the different types of roles can be anything from bookkeeping, as I said, social media, which is huge, writing. So people that want to market more of their services through SEO is blogging and articles, going out and building relationships online for SEO. If anybody does search engine optimization, I don't know if that's even a thing in the pawn industry. But
we're starting. It's getting there, yeah.
Getting there. So this is all stuff that people can help you with. And what I really feel, boy, I'm just talking away here. I get so excited when I get asked this question. But one of the biggest things for me is when I start a new venture or a new business or something like that, I want to work in it. So many people say, don't work in your business, work on it, da, 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 da. But I think you have to work in it and learn every aspect of that business, because this is going to do one of two things. It'll do two things. It's going to show you what you like to do, and it's going to show you what you don't like to do, both of which are key in running a successful business. Where the mastery comes in is taking all the things that you don't like to do, that don't give you energy, and delegate that to someone else that it does give energy to. But you have to figure out and go through the processes to find out what you like and what you don't like. And all the busy work, the bookkeeping or the administrative work, the social media, the stuff that you may not like doing, that's easy to delegate, but you've got to create that system. Focus on the things that matter to you, growing the bottom line, networking, getting out there and doing whatever it is that you need to do to focus on the actual business growth, and leave the detailed, more specific stuff, the mundane details that you may or may not really like to do, to someone else who really thrives on that.
Yeah, and I believe like when we talk about the pawn industry, we talk about this in the Pawn Leaders podcast community on Facebook. And if you're listening to the podcast, please go to the Pawn Leaders podcast community. It's a great community of pawnbrokers just asking questions and trying to improve themselves in their business. That pawn shops used to be where you just open the doors and people would walk in. But these days, you need SEO, you need social media management, you need Instagram and Facebook, and you need to work on a great website and a lead magnet and bring people into the shop, so then you can blow them away with the service, the price, the loans, all those types of things. So I believe more than ever, and it's why I brought you on, that pawnbrokers need to be at the front of the line and delegate all of that stuff that you just said. Delegate social media, SEO, graphic design, because if not, all that happens, Jamie, and I experienced it being in the stores for 16 years, is that you're on the front of the line, you're writing loans, you're doing business, and you're forgetting to market. You're forgetting to blog. You're forgetting to post on Instagram because it's like, man, this is so much I need to do. It's overwhelming. But hiring somebody to do it keeps you at the forefront and helps you beat the competitor.
Oh, amen. Exactly. I think one of the biggest challenges is there's probably two things. Number one, people don't know when to hire, but even before that, they don't know what to do about hiring. And sometimes people will hire just to hire somebody because they think, oh, I need help. I'm going to hire this person. And then they're going to come in, okay, I want you to do this, and they're going to go crazy. We like to come in and from the very beginning and really prepare that business owner, that business leader for a specific way to hire somebody. And we do that through what we call a 6-step hiring formula. The first thing we do is a delegation roadmap. This, thanks again to Scott Beebe. I mean, we go down and we list out all the tasks. And I have video instruction, and this is free, by the way. And this is from years of experience that I've collaborated, collected information, and I put it all together in the 6 steps. The first thing is the delegation. You write down every single thing that you do every day. Imagine how many things a pawnbroker does every day, the owner. Like, it's a million things. Write them all down. Do it in 2 sessions, 1 hour each day, if you can get it done. But then assign a value to those, which give you energy and which give you don't. Which don't give you energy. The ones that give you energy do, the ones that don't. Now all of a sudden, you have a job role for all of those tasks, so that when you go to hire somebody, you know exactly what you're hiring for. And more importantly, they know what they're being hired for. They can literally look at it. The third thing is when you're going about this, to make sure you have a good interview lined up. How do you give a good interview? What do you need to ask? What are the points? Well, you can reference your job role for number one. You have a really good idea of what tasks you want delegated. And then the third thing is, because you've written down the processes, okay, this is how I send an email, or this is how I want social media done. This is my branding. These are my colors. This is whatever. When someone comes on, you already have all of that laid out. So it's a lot easier for you to get out of what's in your head to someone else. Yeah. Then the fourth thing is to make sure you do a good interview. We have videos on that to help you out, and make sure you ask the right questions. We even offer a confirmation interview, and that's where you actually give somebody a task. We highly recommend that to a new candidate, to make sure that they can do what they said they can do. And then you go through the hiring process, and then we help you out. What does that very first meeting look like between you and your virtual assistant? And we do this all before you've even met the candidates to interview.
Awesome. And I think, I know that people are listening and saying, how would I hire somebody who doesn't know the pawn industry? Or how would I hire somebody who's never worked in the industry? But I want to make sure that people understand that a SEO guru, someone who's great at it, they can sell, snail food or pawn shop. A social media marketing genius can sell books or pawn loans. It doesn't matter, as long as you can clarify what you want, the type of customer that you want, and they'll build it for you. And so this thought process of, I need somebody who's only worked in the pawn industry, or who has specific, time in the industry, I think it's a farce. It's not necessary, because these virtual assistants have such great backgrounds that they can, do just as good.
Well, I think you make a really good point. I think also, if you look at it from the point of view, if you bring someone in that has experience in the pawn industry, maybe they have bad habits. Maybe someone else has taught them how to do something that doesn't align with your particular belief systems or the way that you want things operated, right? Wherein if you bring in someone new, you can show them exactly what you want them to do, detailed down to the very specific itemized list that you prepare, and they won't come in with any bad habits. The other thing that you have to look at too is you nailed the head, hit the nail right on the head. social media is social media. Yeah, there's certain lingo and stuff that needs to happen, but this is why we prepare you in advance for your meetings, your action items. We take care of a lot of this up front so that you know how to best describe what it is that you want done. And the biggest challenge that you may find in hiring someone that doesn't know the pond industry is the simple fact that you may have to train them a little bit. But this is where people really drop the ball. So many people need to hire somebody because they're so busy. I need to hire someone because I can't do it all. I need a break. I need to take maybe a vacation, or I need to focus on this. I need to, whatever it is that you need to be doing. The problem is, if you don't take that time up front and train them properly, whether or not the person has experience or not, it's going to end up biting you in the rear. And that's the number one reason why people are either let go or quit, is because they don't have a set group of expectations, and there isn't a clear direction to what they're supposed to be doing.
And Jamie, and that goes for both in-person hires and virtual assistants, I'm guessing.
100%.
Right? Yeah. And you said something great where a lot of people say, I need to, fire these people, or they're not doing this right. And what I always ask is, well, how's the training? Have you trained them correctly so that, they can do it with their eyes closed, or they can do it, without a problem? And I think a lot of times we believe that we're communicating what we want, but we don't tend to say everything that we want, or the way we communicate it in our heads and what comes out of our mouth is totally different. So I think hiring people, for me, why it's so important, especially a virtual assistant, let's say, is because I want to be able to spend as much time at home as possible. I want to be able to beat the competitor. I want to be able to just be up with the times of being on Instagram and Facebook and doing SEO and getting my accounting done correctly. And some of the best pawnbrokers that I have interviewed on this podcast always say the same. They say, you want to succeed, hire people who are smarter than you. And I believe it doesn't matter where those people are. If they're smarter than you are, they can do the job. Pay them their money so you can rest and put your head on the pillow at night and sleep comfortably.
I love that. I love it. And I'll tell you right now, I am nowhere near the writer that Karen is. She's our head writer, and she nails it. I'm not a coder. I had a web development company for many, many years, still do. I'm not a coder, a programmer. I don't know PHP. I don't know all that stuff. But my developers, I'll put them up against the best in the industry. They're amazing. And every single aspect, they kill it. My designers, oh my gosh. They can design like nobody's business. Me, I have a hard time drawing a stick figure. Right? So what I'm good at, or what I enjoy, I should say, is like talking to you. This stuff is fun for me. And this is a good way for me to reach out and build my business. But it's fun, and I enjoy this. I thrive on this stuff. So this is what I want to be focused on. Right now, developers are building the websites. They're doing all the stuff behind the scenes that do not give me energy. And my podcast, we've been doing it for 4 years now, 250 some episodes. I love podcasting. I love interviewing. I love doing this. I cannot stand the editing. Yeah. I cannot stand the marketing. I don't like the publishing. I don't like writing the show notes. That just drains the living daylights out of me. So I give it to somebody. My audio engineers, they love it. My writers, they love writing. They love publishing it. The social media manager, she loves living her life on social media. She loves it. I don't.
I love that, because I'm the same way. I mean, this podcast, I'm going to give up my secret. I record, I send the file, and then my engineer, my writer, he does everything. He puts it up, puts it on. It's like magic to me, and that's not my forte. So I believe, especially in today's market in the pawn industry, we have to be competitive. We can't be asleep at the wheel when it comes to like marketing, social media, writing blog posts, having great websites, keeping up with our Google reviews, all those types of things. And if we're consistently pawning, selling, and putting out merchandise and dealing with the employees at the store, how can we have the time to do all this stuff? And I think your resource Bottleneck is such a great way to take that off the plate, pay somebody some money. Obviously, it's going to be less expensive. I remember, so this is funny. So I remember years ago, my brother and I, we kept on thinking about like, okay, we need to have a marketing agency. Like we need to have a marketing agency to do all this marketing. And my sister was in marketing school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, yeah, we can hire some people. And we're like, great. How much is it going to cost? And I was like, man, it was like, $30,000, $40,000 per kid coming out of school. We're like, there's no way. So we essentially created an agency within house, but we had 3 or 4 young kids working for us. And it was tough. It was tough because it was on staff all the time. We had to pay them their check, biweekly. We didn't know what work to give them. And I think having a virtual assistant is just having a conversation like you and I are right now on a video conference call saying, hey, let's map out the next 3 months. This is what I want. Here's some pictures of my stores. Here's a great story. Here's kind of, a video of us. And they'll be able to help you map that out as well. Not just say, I'll post 2 or 3 times a week. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, what's really cool about this is seeing the growth over time because how we've grown and we've created different roles. And it was really neat. For the first writer we hired, it took us 6 weeks because I really had to walk her through it. And we wrote down, every single step, and this is what we want to do. And I had to kind of help her with a little bit of on-page optimization and all this stuff so it could get found in the search engines and stuff like that. Fast forward 18 months, we hired another writer. It took us 2 days because all the systems were down and we were ready to go. And you say, bringing on an assistant or whatever it may be to help you out, not only can they do the work as per your direction, but now my VAs, they create job roles for future hires for me. Or they revisit the existing workflows or processes that we have and improve upon them. They obviously submit it to me and I'll go through and see that it's correct. But that is time-consuming stuff. Our marketing campaign that we're coming up with for the 4th quarter, it's all being done by the VAs. Yes, I have my input. I meet with them weekly. I meet with the marketing team once a week, and I meet with the entire staff once a week. And we come up with all these cool ideas, but they're the ones that really assemble it. They put it together. This is what's going to happen this date, and this is what's going to happen this date. And it's just amazing. So a lot of that, I don't really have to worry about. I'm basically saying, that's a great idea, or let's probably not do that one yet.
Awesome. Love it. So let me ask you 2 questions. One, let's talk about like a success story. Somebody who came to Bottleneck, hired virtual assistants apart from you, obviously, and was able to grow and scale their business. And then after that, let's talk about kind of the cost. What does it cost to hire somebody? What does it take? And yeah, I'll let you lead.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, this is a great one. There is out of St. Louis, Missouri, which is about 3.5 hours north of us, which I've never met them in person still. But they've been with us for about 3 years, I'd say. They were looking for a social media manager. And they found someone that had just recently graduated college locally. And she wanted, I believe, $48,000 a year. And they contacted me from a referral source and said, hey, we're just kind of getting started in this. It's a new thing. And we don't really have this much money, but we really need this role. So I went out and found somebody that not only was a college graduate, but had 3 years of experience. And we placed them at the time. They've had a couple raises since then. At the time, for $12 an hour, huge saving. They've since hired 3 more VAs from us. They're a growing, thriving real estate investment company, and so they're working with 4 VAs, and it's an incredible success story, in my opinion. And they love it. They just reached out. They want to hire someone again next month. Nice. So it's fantastic to hear the growth, and they've been able to scale because they have all this work at way more cost effective. And they're turning out some great stuff. It's amazing. Awesome. So with regards to cost, we do what we call as a sourcing fee up front. The process is you contact us, you fill out a questionnaire. We want to make sure that we can give you exactly what you're looking for. So they fill out this, what we call as a VA intake form. And then if we feel that we can place them or source them with a really good candidate, we'll ask them to pay a sourcing fee. And that sourcing fee is one-time $500. The average cost to hire somebody in the United States right now is $4,129. And that's a lot because of all the preparation and everything that you have to go into it. So we do $500 sourcing fee. We'll go out and source 10, 15, 20 different candidates, whittle that down to 3. And then we invite our prospective client in to interview 3 candidates back to back for 10 minutes each. And they'll go through a small little interview process, which is moderated by our operations manager, Yang, and she'll make sure that the candidates show up and that the 10 minutes is okay, it's 10 minutes next. And then the client will pick or choose the candidate they felt they had the best rapport with, that they think they can do the best job with. And we do what we call as a confirmation interview next. Now that is not moderated. That's simply between the client and the virtual assistant. And they can do 10 minutes, they can do an hour, whatever they want to make sure they feel comfortable. And we ask them to, assign them a task, nothing big, something, 30 minutes or less, and then put a due date on it. Get this to me by tomorrow at 11 a.m. And this ensures and helps our clients feel that, yes, this virtual assistant can do what they said they can do. And boy, they did it right on time or they were early. Then the client reaches out to us. We sign agreements. It's a month to month. You can cancel anytime. We ask for a 14-day advance notice. So if they do want to cancel, we can place the assistant somewhere else. But all of our virtual assistants sign an agreement with us, meaning that they cannot take another job. And the reason for that is they can take projects, but not another job. So if our client wants to grow and use them for more and more and more stuff as they get busier and busier, they don't have to hire somebody else and retrain them. They can just work with this person, and this person, the VA that's assigned to them, can follow along and grow with the company as needed.
Awesome, man. And I told you before the call that I'm going to have to talk to you after the call to hire myself a couple of VAs to work on some things. But I want the pawnbrokers and the pawn leaders who are listening to the podcast to know that don't try to do it all yourself. You're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of money trying to learn the stuff. You're not going to be great at it. That's the truth. And if you want to win in this industry, if you want to win in this business today, I always talk about 3 things. It's leadership, marketing, and strategy. And when it comes to marketing and strategy, hire out the marketing and build that strategy so that you have some free time to spend with your family, to go, hiking, hunting, whatever you like to do, or Jamie, who plays hockey, who's a big hockey fan, and enjoy life. Don't just sit there being a slave to the business, So Jamie, I want to thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. That means the world, man.
For sure. And how can people find a Bottleneck so they can sign up some VAs ASAP?
Yeah, just come on over to bottleneck.online. You can kind of check out some stuff that we have there. I have a little overview video, and there's an inquiry form there. So it's just /inquiry, bottleneck.online /inquiry. You fill that out. We have an automated system that will send you out a link to schedule a free consultation with me. And I'm happy to explore determining specifically for the pawn industry, the best process for the pawn industry. I'm happy to do that and build that out for whomever wants me to do it. And again, at no cost.
Awesome. I love that. Reach out to Jamie. It's like you said, it's a free consultation to see if Bottleneck will work for you. And Jamie, love you, brother. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Yigal.
Appreciate you. And guys, remember to check out the Pawn Leaders podcast community. We talk about the pawn, the podcast episodes. We talk about pawn life, and check out pawnleaders.com to jump on a call with me to see how we can improve your business and take it to the next level. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.